You know, when this journey first began, I did not know where it was going to lead me.
You know that superstition of if you break a mirror, you'll have 7 years of bad luck? You ever heard that? Well, it is a true statement that was believed by ancient Rome. See, the Romans believed that the mirror held a piece of your soul. So breaking it meant breaking a piece of yourself. I want you to hold on to that thought, because today we're going to talk about what happens when you are brave enough to put the mirror down anyway. Welcome to another episode of A Dose of Nicki, and welcome back to the Mirror series. See, this is part 3, the final chapter, and if you've not listened to part 1 and 2, I'd advise you to go back and start there, because what we're going to be doing today is the conclusion of a journey we started together about 3 weeks ago. In part 1, I asked you, what are you really looking at? And in part 2, I asked, who told you that about yourself? And today, part 3, I'm going to tell you what happened when I finally put the mirror down. And I mean really put it down. Really. Now, I need to tell you something a little bit about myself before we go any further. Must admit I've lived a full life, really. And I've attended HBCU school 4 years. And life sat me still 4 credits short of a degree. But those 4 years gave me something no diploma could have handed me. Just saying. They shaped me, prepared me. It was irreplaceable. I went on, to build a career, and I started on the front lines, worked my way up to leadership, showed up every single day, and gave everything I had. I became a mom of 2. Yeah, of 2. A basketball mom, baseball mom, team mom, traveling teams up and down the East Coast, back and forth. I became a wife. I was present. I was committed. I was consistent. And still, someone looked at all of that and reduced me to one negative word. One word. A word I'm not going to repeat here because it doesn't deserve another moment of my breath, but I will tell you this. That word did not live near my personal reality. Maybe in my environment, at some point, that word definitely existed, but it was not who I was. Period. And I want to speak silently to the person right now, and to anyone for that matter who has ever done this to someone. You looked at me and you saw one word, but you missed 4 years of higher education. You missed a career built from the ground up. You missed a mother who would drive her children across state lines so they could live their dreams, have fun, be a part of a team, collaboration, teach them all of that. And you missed a wife, a leader, basically a virtuous woman. That's who you missed. You missed all of that because your mirror was cracked. And I spent too long trying to fit into the reflection you decided I was. Guilty until proven innocent. Always in court. Always pleading my case. Always trying to prove that your one word was wrong about me. And I want you to know something. I do not carry that anymore. I genuinely hope that one day you look in your own mirror honestly. Because what you saw in me was never about me. It was about you. Now, let me take you somewhere that might actually surprise you. See, when I was a little girl, there was a show called Romper Room. Maybe dating myself, but anyway, And at the end of every episode, the host would look into a magic mirror and call children's names. And I would sit in front of that television and wait and wait and wait for my name to be called. And it never was. And something in that little girl tucked that away. The feeling of looking into a mirror and not being seen. I carried that feeling way longer than I should have. I carried it into adulthood. I took it into the workplace, into relationships, even into my quiet moments, allegedly, when I wondered why I kept trying to prove myself to people who had already decided who I was going to be. But here's what I know now. See, Romper Room didn't call my name, and that person reduced me to one word, one negative word, and neither of them had the authority to define me. The mirror they held up was never mine to begin with. So I put it down. And despite the superstition, despite the 7 years of alleged bad luck, because I realized something, living inside someone else's cracked mirror was already the bad luck. Working so hard to change the reflection they saw of me. That was the bad luck. It was like, eating right and, running and walking and exercising consistently and watching the scale needle refuse to move. All that effort, all that energy, and all that time poured into a mirror that was never going to show me who I actually was. So guess what I did? I dropped it. And do you know what happened when I put that mirror down? I received a promotion. We purchased our first home. I started a podcast. Look at me. I formed a business. I formed that podcast, A Dose of Nicki, my own mirror, called by my own name, reflecting my own truth. And see, that little girl who waited for Romper Room to call her name grew up and built her own show. And here's the gift that came with putting it down. I can now identify it immediately. The moment someone tries to hold up a cracked mirror, I see it, and I name it. And I do not let it move in, as they say, right? Stay outside. It does not consume my thoughts. It does not shake my foundation. It does not get a seat at my table. It could roam that table all day long, but you are not invited to sit at my table. See, that's not arrogance. That is freedom. And that freedom is available to every single person listening to this episode right now. So, I want to leave you with 2 questions today. See, the first one, whose mirror have you been living in? And the second one, what becomes possible for you the moment you put it down? Drop it in the comments. And like I always say, you do not have to share everything. Just let me know. Are you ready to put the mirror down? This is your dose, and I want to thank you for joining me today on A Dose of Nicki. And I want to thank you for walking through the mirror series with me too. 3 episodes, 3 layers, 1 mirror. And now it is time to put it down. Let's keep the mind thinking, because every layer we peel back brings us closer to understanding ourselves and others. Awareness is the first step toward authenticity, and together we can do this. Until next time, stay fab, keep growing, and be well, my friends. Be well. If you enjoyed this episode, join us next week for another insightful conversation. Remember, if you have found value in our discussions or this discussion, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon to be notified when a new episode drops on YouTube. Take care.
Get a dose of Nicki. Get a dose of Nicki. Don't get a dose of Nicki. Don't get a dose of Nicki. Don't get a dose of Nicki.